if you're watching this video, you're probably here for information either on the Minn Kota Endura series or possibly the jump and carry JNC660 or just the jump and carry products in general. And just stay tuned because I'll give you more information on both, but this video is going to be more for this electric trolling motor because a lot of folks are always out there wondering how much amperage it actually pulls and what size of battery to get. Most people will just tell you get a group 24, and if you can, a group 27, possibly even a 31 if you really need it. Although this being just a 30-pound thrust, I wouldn't see you using it on a really big boat. Probably nothing larger than a 16-foot boat in calm waters. And once again, this jump and carry, it's one of the best booster packs around. This guy is probably about a year and a half old now, and it uses the Performer batteries inside. It's a lead sealed 18 amp hour battery. It's really good. It comes with its own little gauge that is, that can tell you approximately where its power is, and it can be charged both by AC and by the DC, which is very important on the go. And if you guys are into solar panel, you can easily get a 50, 60, 85, 100 watt solar panel and have this thing charging off grid as well. So I'll give more information on the battery in just a few moments, but we're going to talk more about this trolling motor. So I'm just going to set up the camcorder, and that way I can have back to the Minn Kota. And there's no way you're going to see this tablet properly. Just do a Google for the Minn Kota Endura C2. This is the C2 model, and again, it's a 30-pound thrust. And on the website, and I know you can't see this, so again, you guys can just Google it yourself. It tells you that Minn Kota has what's called a digital maximizer to help the efficiency of the trolling motor. So on lower speeds it uses less amp versus on its high speed they'll use the most amp, which is the load from the motor. And it says for the 30-pound, the 30-pound, 40, 45, 50, and 56, it says no for the digital maximizer. And again, you can find it on the website. And so my question here, along with a lot of other people who are always searching on the internet, and I hope to answer in this video, is that really the truth? And does it really take up the full amperage on setting 1 versus 5? Because if that's the case, then, well, you obviously need a bigger battery. And just kind of jump the gun a little bit. You guys can probably guess I'm using this as my battery. So let's put a voltmeter, or in this case an amperage, between the positive terminals, and we'll see how much amp it actually takes. The Minn Kota is hooked up to my jump and carry, my battery booster, and I got the meter hooked up. It's just a very cheap meter, 10 amps. I don't think this motor will exceed that. So let's find out exactly how much amperage it uses in the first speed. And here we go. Sorry, loose connection, folks. So we're seeing roughly 2.3 amps. Alright, you guys are just gonna have to listen to me because I'm gonna have to. Forgot to mention, I do not endorse the use of electrical tape. This is only a demo, and as you see, it's not a reliable connection at all. Let's see if that's better so I can have both hands. Yes, it is. Okay, so again, speed on the first speed is about 2.25 amps. Okay, we're gonna go up to 2, and it looks like we're still using the same amount of amperage. We're on speed 4, and now 5. Still pretty much the same amount of amperage. So unfortunately, I have a trolling motor that is not efficient. This is back on speed 1. And speed 5. So we'll just say 2.5 amps. I'm going to turn it off. Let's go in reverse. Might as well see how much reverse takes up. So it'll be the same. Alright. So there you have it. This is the C2. No, it does not have the digitizer maximizer that Minn Kota talks about. You have to go to their higher end models to get that. And so since I know it will take up about 2.5 amps per hour, I can pretty much estimate what type of battery I need for the type of fishing that I want to do. And that's where I'll now talk about my jump and start. This jump and start here, this is rated at a 1600 peak amps. Now, the thing about batteries is there's lots of little marketing terms and a lot of things that you're gonna have to learn about. There's a lot of, I don't want to say scams, but just a lot of fun stuff out there you need to learn. And one of it is knowing how they rate the battery. Sometimes they rate it for a 20-hour use, 16-hour use, or some are a little bit more, so you have to read through all the fine line. This jump and start in particular, it's 425 cranking amps. I know it uses a performer battery in there, lead sealed. You can use it on the side, everything, even upside down, and it's pretty good. Well, okay, maybe not upside down, but all other ways is possible. And I know it's got a 18 amp hour in there. So if we were to round off the Minn Kota to 3 amps for how much it draws per hour, you would think you have about 6 hours of use. But just remember, you usually don't want to drain the battery more than 50%. That's a general rule of thumb. Truthfully, you can go down to about 30%. So it means I have a good solid 4 hours of operating time with this wonderful little booster battery. It's pretty light. It's well, it's not that light, but it's light compared to a full-size battery. It's about 18 pounds, and as I mentioned, it can be charged using AC. Make sure you use a good extension cord so that you don't fry your house circuit, or you can use the supplied male-to-male DC, and there's a fuse on both ends, and it's a 60 amp fuse. So I'll note that Jump and Start recommends that after one jump, you charge this for about an hour on AC, 20 minutes on DC, and after multiple uses, 12 to 36 hours. The thing about this model is it's got an automatic charger, so it will cut the circuit from being overloaded. There's other units that don't have that. Be aware of that. Look out for that. On the DC, after multiple charges, I think it was 1 hour, and then a full discharge, it was something like 2 hours or 5 hours. I'm gonna have to look that up again. It was probably more like 5 hours, but 2 hours gets you pretty good, because that's what I usually do after I'm out and about and come in for lunch, and I plug it into my vehicle to charge it. And for this guy, obviously a lot longer. You'll need overnight charging. So the reason why for the difference is they realize most home chargers and also a lot of people might not have the right cord, so the amperage going into charge is a lot less on the AC. On the DC, I can show you guys by taking out the fuse. Actually, it probably won't show on the camera too well, but as I mentioned, on both sides there's a fuse, and this fuse here is a 60 amp fuse. Now, granted, most people don't drive a big truck, so your fuse block inside your truck is probably going to blow first. So again, there's I forgot what's the actual amperage that this pulls out, but you can do the math. I already told you it's an 18 amp battery in there, and usually it takes me about 2 hours to charge it back for a good use for the rest of the afternoon. So that's why for me, rather than lugging around a Group 24 or 27 battery, I prefer to use this. It's lighter, smaller, easier to carry, plus it's got enough juice to jumpstart my vehicle. V8s like the Dodge Rams, the bigger guys. I know for sure the GMC 2500s, because I've used that multiple times for a friend's truck. We were having some electrical problems, and yeah, it's a great unit. I'm actually thinking of picking up 2 more, or at least 1 more, so I have 2. One that I always use for the boat, and if by chance I accidentally drain my car battery because I forget to crank on the motor for the alternator to charge back up my car battery, then I can jump start it again. So it's a really good battery. I've gotten other stuff like the Black & Decker from Costco, had to return it. Battery's not good in there. The main difference is, again, for these guys, look, your cables here, these are gauge 4, so you already know that's quality there. It's got a nice little built-in gauge meter for approximate voltage, so if I'm out on the lake, I'll kind of know when I'm running low, because I'll be able to hit this and find out. So once I get into the yellow, I know, oh, it's time to start heading back, right? And what was I going to say again? Yeah, what makes it quality is also the battery that they use in there. There's a good battery in here, and you can find out more information on these batteries by googling it, but I highly recommend it. I've used it many times. Again, that GMC Sierra 2500 I was talking about, that's when I was out still heading for winter. It's in the code, and his battery was just dead because he had a leaking stuff everywhere in his vehicle. So I think that covers it. If you have any other questions on the motor or the battery, feel free to drop a comment below. Thanks for watching.